This is video number 1 for sections 4.4 and 4.5 on writing exponential functions, the easy and medium cases. In our last lesson, we determined that the equation of an exponential function always looks like y equals a times b to the x. This is our y equals mx plus b, so to speak, during chapters 4 and 5. You'll remember that the A stands for the y-intercept, and the B stands for the base multiplier. In any given problem, A and B are just numbers that we need to fill in. Well, in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to find the equation of an exponential function when given information about that function. We'll start, letter A, with the simplest case, what we might call the easy case, and that is the case where both A and B are essentially given to you. Obviously, if you have them right from the start, you just fill them in and you're done. Take a look at this example. Find the equation of the exponential function that goes through the points 0, 4, and 1, 20. I'm being told that it's an exponential function, and I'm being given a couple of points. Well, it might not be obvious to you that this is the easiest situation. You'll get better at recognizing that. One thing that might help would be to take the ordered pairs and write them in a table form. So I have 0, 4, and 120. And two things should stand out to you at this point. One is that the top row is the y-intercept because the x-coordinate is 0. Well, if I know the y-intercept, then I know the value of A. The other thing that's interesting about this example is that the x's are going up by 1. Well, you might remember if you're looking at an exponential table and the x's are going up by 1, the base multiplier is simply whatever number multiplies from one y value to the next. This is such a simple example, you can see that it's just times 5. That means the base multiplier is 5. Well, if I put these two pieces of information together, I now know the A, the y-intercept, is 4. The B, the base multiplier, is 5. I can simply write down my equation right now. I'll get y equals 4 times 5 to the x. That would be the final answer. That's the exponential function that goes through the 2 points given. If you wanted to check this using your graphing calculator, you could do so in the same way we did back in the linear function chapter. You would simply go to the y equals, you would type in this equation, you would draw the graph, maybe using the zoom standard window, and then you can use the trace button to determine if the original 2 points are actually on that graph. Let's consider now the medium case. The medium case would simply be the situation where one of the A or B is given. You don't know both, but you at least know one of the two. For example, find the equation of the exponential function that goes through the points 0, 20 and 6, 10. Again, I'm being told it's an exponential function. I'm being given a couple of points. I bet you recognize which of the A or B we have. Again, if it helps, I could organize the information in a table. 0, 20, 6, 10. Again, the first row has that 0 in the x-coordinate, which means this is the y-intercept. 20 is my y-intercept. It is therefore the A value in this problem. Now, it's tempting on these to feel like you also know the B. You might notice that all you have to do to get from 20 to 10 is cut it in half. In other words, multiply by 1/2. It might be tempting to think that the B value in this problem is 1/2. That is not true because my x's are not going up by 1s. Only if the x's are going up by 1s can you spot the B value right in the table. 1/2 is not the B value. We'll have to figure out what it is. Let's fill in what we do know. We do know that the final answer is going to look like this. Y equals 20 times B to the x. I know the y-intercept is 20. I'm just not sure yet what the value of b is. How are we going to find it? Well, the method is very similar to what we did in the earlier part of the course with the linear functions. You might remember that oftentimes we would find the slope, we would plug it in, and we would wonder what the value of b was. The way we would figure it out is we would take one of our xy points and we would temporarily plug it in, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Now, I really don't have a choice as to which point I pick. I've already used the y-intercept, so in this problem I must use that other point. I'm going to take those values, I'm going to temporarily plug them in place of x and y. I know that they satisfy the equation because they're on the graph, and this will enable me to solve for b. Let's do that. 10 for the y, 6 for the b. Well, look what I have now. I've just created a power equation. We learned how to solve these kinds of equations in the last lesson. Let's run through those steps. Looks like the first thing I need to do is isolate the base and the power. That 20 is in my way, so I'll divide both sides by 20. I don't want to go to decimals yet. I want to keep everything exact, so I can go ahead and reduce this fraction to 1/2. The other side I have b to the 6th. And then to get rid of that power, remember I take each side to the reciprocal power. The reciprocal of 6 is 1/6. I'll have to do that same step over here on the left as well. And so now my b is by itself. I have b equals 1/2 to the 1/6 power. That would be called the exact answer for, but usually what we're going to want is a decimal approximation. So we would go to our calculator and type that in, and then we would round off the value to whatever was requested. There's nothing written here. Why don't we round this off to 2 decimal places? Looks like that comes out to 0.89 approximately. Make sure that you're doing this calculation yourself on your own calculator. If you're not getting 0.89, it's possible that you're not entering enough parentheses. Depending on your calculator, you may need to put a parentheses around each fraction. In other words, you may need to type it in like this. Well, now we have everything we need to write down our final answer. We had the a from the beginning, and we just found the b. Looks like the final equation, y equals 20 times 0.89 to the x. That is the equation of the exponential function that goes through the 2 points we were given. In our next video, we'll figure out what to do if we don't know a or b.